I think that we stay pretty much to a basic horror pattern, you know, of how we set things up. Same thing with the snake. The snake is a general horror image. And I think that the stage show is a general horror image. And we stay in that realm. You know, like we don't really do anything religious at all. We don't do anything political, you know, because I think politics is boring, just boring as hell. Let you two do the politics, you know. I mean, certain bands are good at that. We find that a little bit boring.
You mentioned about using horror imagery, and one of my favourite Alice Cooper songs was The Black Widow, track in which Vincent Price had
that could show up again.
So I thought that was great.
You never know.
Yeah.
Some songs could show up again because no matter what we do, we always end up doing about 70% of the older stuff because the audience demands it. And I think if we went out and did all the songs of Constrictor and You Raise Your Fist and Yell, the audience would be screaming for some of the standards, you know. And so, I mean, we really do have to do almost more than 50% oldies.
Well, we've already mentioned that the new album's out in October. Does that mean you're going to come back to Europe and play some more shows?
We'll be doing the States October, November, December, January, and probably over here February, March. That's the plan right now. You know, maybe we could avoid cold weather again. This is the nicest weather. This is the best weather I've ever been in England.
I think you're going to be very lucky.
I hope so.
Maybe when you get on stage, there'll be thunderstorms.
There'll be a lightning storm. That would be great. And then they'll say, how did Alice ever plan that?
Good luck, Alice. And
thanks, Dante. Thanks. Thanks.
Come on, Dad. I'm trying to make a good impression.
Alice Cooper there, the self-proclaimed king of horror. And his new album, Raise Your Fist and Yell, is coming out in October, and good stuff it is too. And one of the things that makes it so good is the guitar work of Kane Roberts. So it seemed only fair to have a chat with Kane as well. And besides, he's a very big guy, so, well, I didn't like to refuse him, really. Kane, as well as being the lead guitar player with Alice Cooper's band, you've also got your own album coming out very shortly.
Yeah, we got the record deal, I guess it was about 6 months into Alice's tour. And it was a real easy thing. The first record company I went to, MCA, just jumped right on it. So it was painless enough for me to do, and we're real excited about it. I mean, I've kind of torn between the two because I ended up really loving both projects. So. But I'm excited about it, yeah.
I think the album's going to be called simply Kane Roberts, but there is actually a band called Criminal Justice involved.
The band was called Criminal Justice for quite a while, actually. We were together about 5 years, and we were banging it out in all those little bars that everybody kind of learns their trade in, you know. So it's three guys. It's me, Steve Steele on bass, and Victor Russo on drums, yeah.
And you're also singing the lead vocals.
I sing lead vocals, yeah.
Which is something you don't really get a chance to do with Alice, so it's another outlet.
No. With Alice, it's kind of a luxury. I just said I want to strap on the guitar and just play, you know. It's a lot of fun to do that, and I let Alice do all this singing.
You ever thought about trying to persuade him to let you sing during the show?
Well, I might sing backgrounds, but I don't want to sing Only Women Bleed or anything, if that's what you mean.
When this album comes out, a lot of people might say, oh, Kane Roberts has left Alice Cooper, he's got his own band now. How would you answer that?
I'd say that Alice, there's very few people that I would want to play with anyway. And Alice and I hit it off so well that we're going to stick together until it doesn't make sense anymore. But like I say, we don't expect either project to suffer as a result of the success of either things. You know what I mean? I think if everything stays positive, we're going to be happy with it. So.
But if your album is a big success, wouldn't there be pressure on you to go out and play some shows with your own band?
I'm out of there. No. What we'll probably do is there's some talk of having me open for Alice and then play with Alice. And it's funny because a lot of people then say, isn't that a lot of work? But I'm fresh out of those bars where I had to play 6 sets, you know, and 200 people, and the only window is a little beer sign, you know. So this is cake for me. This is fun.
If I remember, wasn't there talk of you doing that on Alice Cooper's last American tour, opening with your own band and then going on and playing with him?
Yeah, but we decided to postpone that and just concentrate on what we were doing with Alice and let the record take its natural course, you know.
Okay. Well, people watching this may not have heard either the new Alice Cooper album or your album. What's the difference between the two? How would you say your album differs from Alice's stuff?
I would say that you're not going to listen to my record and hear a lot of Alice Cooper influence. You'll notice some of the different stylistic things because we've matched up. This new album, Alice and I really have hit our stride writing-wise, and we're trying to capture what was going on earlier in Alice's career. I think my album is, if I was going to name any influences, it would have to be somewhere between Def Leppard and Van Halen. So,
I was reading your biography the other day. And you as well.
I'm sorry.
and you're mentioned in the bio as well. I noticed you in there. And it said that the songs focus on a mixture of sex and power. Is that a good way of describing it?
Yeah, it's because a lot of people ask me a few questions. They say, who am I influenced by on guitar, and why did I decide to get big? For me, I just let my life influence me as much as I can outside. Out of my favorite guitar players, and as far as my size, it's kind of a flesh and blood version of what I feel about rock and roll, and I think the two greatest things about that is what it has to say about sex and power. Yeah.
Well, I don't think we'll talk about sex, but you're obviously a very powerful person. Do you train every day?
I train about 6 days a week. It's kind of not like other people. The gym that I train at in California, there's no mirrors or anything, and it's a bunch of guys and a bunch of women that are they're closer to animals than they are human beings. So we just go in there and bang the weights out, and we just have a good time, yeah.
When people see you, they probably think, oh, that guy can't play guitar. He must be very clumsy, so big.
Yeah, I had I remember I worked on Rod Stewart's last album. He's one of those guys that I listened to as a kid, and I was freaked out that I had an opportunity to play. And the first time he saw me, he was really scratching his head, you know. And then we hit it off real well. I ended up doing a lot of work on the record, so.
I think when people hear you play, they probably converted after that.
Yeah, I think basically...
You can always pick them up, can't you?
Well, in terms of the size and playing, I think my greatest advantage is no one tells me to turn down anymore, so.
That's right. Do you have to eat special food and drink certain drinks?
Yeah, I just eat a lot of food. My food bills on tour are at least $1,000 a week, $700, $1,000, sometimes more, yeah.
But, I mean, do you have to look after...
My per diem is like gone for breakfast, so I don't even...
Do you have to look after yourself and not really enjoy the rock and roll lifestyle as much as you might?
No. I would say that that's not true. I enjoy those little benefits. That's why I'm here, you know, so. For me, it's a natural thing. I mean, if you see some guys training at the gym, you'd say, boy, those guys are really they're real dedicated, you know. And you see me train, and you might think, you know, I wonder how he got so big. I just took to it, you know, and it's an inspirational thing. If I feel like really chugging at the weights, I do it. But I try not to let it interfere with my life, you know, so. We've
had some rock stars, people like David Lee Roth and Stephen Pearcy, appearing in the pages of Playgirl magazine. Have you been approached to do that as yet?
No.
How would you feel about doing something like that?
I don't know. It would be kind of an unusual thing. What do you do in those?
I don't think you take all your clothes, so we take quite a lot of them off and strike certain...
I think I would take one
poses.
article of clothing off. They'd have to pick whatever it was, so... My biggest part, whatever that ends up being, yeah.
What about future albums outside of Alice Cooper? Is that going to be a possibility too?
Yeah, we're supposed to start my next record somewhere late spring. So as far as working with other artists, it's really tough. You know, somebody said this, and it really rung a bell with me, is I really don't like washing dishes for too many people, you know. I like to just do it for myself or, like, close friends, you know. And Alice is now a friend, so we get along enough, and I don't want to, like, start playing on In Excess's album in this band, because I don't feel all those styles, you know. It's just whatever I look at as a real opportunity is what I go for.
Well, thank you, Kane. Good luck with your album, and the Alice Cooper album, too.
All right, thanks a lot.
My nightmare.